I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on basics about arithmetic. We'll learn in this video how to divide by decimal numbers. We have 6 examples. The last 2 are relatively simple, and we'll see how to change the place value to get the answer within few seconds, right? Let's first understand the basic concept. We are going to multiply 2451 by 0.6. So in division, we probably will prefer long division. It's very clear to make you understand what is going on. So when we divide 2451 by 0.6, then we can actually rewrite this. Dividing by a decimal number is difficult to understand to begin with. So what we do here is that we multiply both the terms by 10. So the question can now be changed, and it could be thought of as dividing, instead of 2451, we'll multiply this by 10, so it becomes 24510, and we'll multiply this also by 10, so now it becomes just the number 6. So as you can see here, dividing by a decimal number is kind of same as division by a whole number, right? So the first step should be to convert the divisor into a whole number by multiplying both by multiples of 10, right? So now we'll divide 24510 by 6. 6 times 4, as you know, is 24, and when we take away, we get remainder of 0, so we'll bring down 5. 6 times 0 is 0, so now the remainder, when we take away, we get 5 as the remainder, bring down 1. 6 times 8 is 48. Taking away 1 gives you 3, bring down 0, and we know 6 times 5 is 30, the remainder is 0. Okay, so basically for this we get the answer as 4085. So let me write this as equal to 4085. Correct. Now, well, when we wrote the question, we wrote divide the following and write answer to 2 decimal places, right? So if required, let me write. Right, so unnecessarily, I do not want to put a decimal and 2 zeros, right? So when we get into decimals as our quotient, in that case, we'll write 2 decimal places, right? So I kind of changed the question if required, right? So that is the steps involved. So I hope these steps are clear, right? Now, let's do the second one, which is 6532 divided by 0.4. Now, once again, let's try to understand this. We are doing 65.32, and we are dividing this by 0.4, right? So what we could do here is that we could multiply both by 10. So we get this as 653.2 divided by 4. Is that clear to you? Right. So both are same things. So I've purposely used different formats so that you understand what we're trying to do. So first step is to make the divisor as a whole number, right? So the first step here is, let me write down here, make divisor a whole number, right? And then it is simple, right? Then long division. Clear? That should give you the answer. So now actually you can pause the video, answer this particular question, then check with my solution, right? So again, let's do the same thing which we did earlier, and we'll divide this time 653.2 by 4, right? Okay. So 4 goes one time, so we get 4 here, and we are left with 2. bring down 5. 4 times 6 is 24. We get 1, bring down 3. 4 times 3 is 12. We get 1. Now bring the number after decimal. You don't have to put decimal here, just write 12. But since you are using a number after decimal, you'll put a decimal here, correct? So now 12 goes 3 times. So we get 12 and our remainder is 0, right? So of course, we have got our quotient and we can write this. Now, when we use decimals, we'll actually write it to 2 decimal places. So I'll prefer to write this as 163.30, okay? So here we get the answer as 163.30. So what you notice here in the answers that when you divide by a decimal number, you are getting a bigger number, right? 163 is bigger than 65. 4085 is bigger than 2451, right? That is kind of important to understand, right? So make a note of this. Okay, let's move on and take the other 4 examples now. This time we are going to divide 0.3258 by 0.3, right? So we are going to divide 0.3258 by 0.3. We want to reduce this to a whole number, right? So we'll multiply both by 10. So we get this as 3.258 divided by 3. Is that clear to you? So that is the basic step. Now we should do the long division, right? So we'll divide the number 3.258 by 3. So 3 goes 1 times. So we get 3 here. 0. Bring down 2. Since we have picked a number after decimal, we have to put decimal in the quotient. Now 2 cannot be divided by 3. So we'll put 0 here. Bring down the next number, which is 5. 24 is 3 times 8 is 24, right? We get 1 here, and the answer here will be 18, and that goes to 6. So we get the answer to 1 point. So here we get 1.086, correct? Now we have to write our answer to 2 decimal places. So we have to now round this up to 2 decimal places. So this will be equal to 1.09. Does it make sense to you? So we need to now round it to 2 decimal places, and we get this as 1.09. Perfect? Okay. Now let's take the next one. I'm squeezing in. I need some space for the last 2. So the next one here, we have 1 decimal place. So what are you going to do? You're going to move this decimal to the next point, and here it becomes a whole number. Do you see that? So we'll directly divide now. Instead of 7.896, what should I use? I have moved decimal 1 place to the right. That is, I have multiplied both of them by 10. So I should write here 78.96, and that becomes the number 9. Perfect. 9 times 8 is 72, and so we get the remainder here as 6. Bring down 9. Since this is after a decimal, we'll put a decimal number. 9 times 7 is 63. And we get here 6, bring down 6. And 9 times again 7 is 63, right? So we get here 3 as the remainder, correct? Now, since you could bring 0 here and then further continue, so that will give you 9 times 3, right? Since we are limiting ourselves to 2 decimal places, this answer should be written as 8.77. So we get here 8.77. Is that clear to you? Correct? So that is how we are going to do it. Now let's take E and F. Okay. Now E is 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 0.5. Correct? Now, whenever you have numbers like 0.5 and 0.2, sometimes you can do a quick division. You could multiply both by 2. Think like this. We could multiply this also by 2 and this also by 2, right? So that means we are not changing the division process, correct? It is the same ratio. So when you multiply, you get this number as 2468 divided by 0.5 times 2 is 1, right? So you get your answer as 2468, right? Do you see that? So we get 2468 as our answer for this particular question, correct? So sometimes it is rearranging, and these are the tricks. The last one here is we need to divide 12.34 by 0.001. So that basically means that the place value has to be changed. To make this as a whole number, we have to move this to 3 decimal places, right? To the right. So if you do the same here, what do you get? You have to add one more 0, correct? So this is as good as saying 12,340 divided by 1. So that is equal to 12,340, correct? So sometimes dividing with such decimal numbers, you can actually move the decimal and immediately write down your answer. Does it make sense to you? So many multiple choice questions could be asked in this fashion, where you're dividing by 0.5, 0.00 something, or even 0.2. If you're doing by 0.2, you can multiply both by. So here is an example. Let me write down an example for you. Let's say we have 1, 2, 3, 4 divided by 0.2. Now, you could also write this as what? You could multiply both by 5, right? So division by 0.2 is same as multiplication. You have to make this as a whole number. So instead of multiplying by 10, making it 2 and then half, you can first multiply. So I could do this as 5 times, right? So what I'm trying to say here is you could multiply both by 5 to get your answer. And if you do that, you get your answer very fast. It is always a bigger number when you divide by a decimal number. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 3, 15, and 2, 17, 1. 5 times 2, 10, and 1. And then you get 6170 as your answer. Do you see that? So you could apply these little tricks sometimes to get faster answer. But I hope you understand the basic concept. The basic concept remains the same. That is to say, whenever you are dividing by a decimal number, you have to convert that into a whole number. And to do so, you have to multiply both numerator and the denominator, or these two numbers, by multiples of 10. Once you make it as a whole number, then it is a normal division. Perfect. So I hope it makes sense. Feel free to write your comment, share your views, and if you like and subscribe to my videos, that'd be great. Thanks for your time and all the best.